Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexalex here, I got another Master Duel video for you. So, coming at you with a little bit of news. We actually had a selection pack that was announced, but I don't think it's actually been announced in game yet. It was announced yesterday on a live stream announcing some Yu-Gi-Oh news from the OCG. And among those things that were announced were another selection pack that's coming here in a little over a week, about a week and a half now. And included in this selection pack is actually support for the B.E.S archetype, which were just revealed in this same live stream and are actually coming out in the OCG pretty much at the same time it's coming out in Master Duel. So it's another like Promethean Princess situation where we're getting a card as soon as the OCG is getting it. So we're going to talk about the new B.E.S cards, and we're also going to look at some of the new Nouvelles and Dragonmaid cards that are coming into the game. By the way, if you end up liking this video format of me reviewing new cards that are coming into the OCG to talk about how viable they're going to be, you'll definitely want to sign up for our Patreon over at patreon.com/hexlex. We talk about new cards over there all the time. I upload multiple times a week over there, and the videos I upload on Patreon do not get shared to YouTube. They're their own exclusive thing. So yeah, definitely if you want to see more new card reviews, go ahead and check that out as we do a lot of that over there, among other things like some exclusive duels that don't make it to the main channel, some duel live reviews, looking at tournament results, you know, so on and so forth. Anyway, so yeah, this is a selection pack. Let's go ahead and take a look at those B.E.S cards. Here we go. It's 4 new cards. There, I guess, could be some more that end up getting revealed, but I imagine if they were going to talk about them, they would have done it already. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be these 4 cards that are coming into Master Duel. You might not be familiar with the B.E.S archetype, but it's actually already in the game. It's the Boss Rush deck, those big spaceships that put counters on themselves that really aren't very good. But let's see what this support does for the archetype. Starting off with Vic Viper, Type L. Is a light machine, level 4, 1200 attack, 800 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. At the start of the battle phase, you can activate one of these effects. Special summon a machine monster from your hand or send a level 4 or lower light machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is destroyed, you can target a light machine monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if its original attack is 1200 or less, it gains 1200 attack. So this doesn't directly support the B.E.S archetype, but there is another like archetype. It's not really within the B.E.S archetype, but basically it's like the Gradius archetype, right? The Gradius ships, which all kind of have this stat line of 1200 attack and then less than 1000 defense. They also all have effects that revolve around the battle phase, which kind of makes them like as an archetype a little bit because it's like you'd have to be a dedicated going second deck, and it's like these things aren't exactly OTKing, so I don't really think it's that strong of an archetype. This card in particular, the second effect, seems like it could be pretty promising, especially combined with a piece of support for this archetype we're going to look at later. But overall, I really don't think this card is that great, and I don't think it makes like the Vic Viper / Gradius ship sort of sub-archetype that viable either. But what about the B.E.S stuff specifically? Let's start with B.E.S Dillinger Core, a level 10 light machine effect monster with 1900 attack and 3000 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can reveal one other B.E.S monster in your hand, special summon this card from your hand, then place 3 counters on it. During the main phase, quick effect, you can remove 1 counter from this card, then activate one of these effects. You can either add Boss Rush or a spell or trap card that mentions it from the deck to hand, or you can special summon a level 9 or lower B.E.S monster from your graveyard. This seems pretty solid. It's a card that can extend really easily. You just have to have another B.E.S card in hand to reveal. It can search up either your spell or trap cards for the archetype, or it can revive stuff from the graveyard. So, not exactly what I would call a starter, it's more of an extender, but it does seem pretty solid in its own right. Alright, here we have Super B.E.S Metal Slave, which is a level 11 Dark Machine effect monster with 3100 attack and 3100 defense. This is going to end up being the new boss monster for the boss deck, the B.E.S deck. That is going to be, why did I say that? Anyway, you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can send up to 5 level 10 or lower B.E.S monsters with different names from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, then place counters on it equal to the number of cards sent to the graveyard to activate this effect. Once per chain, Quick effect, you can remove one counter from this card, then target 2 face-up cards on the field, including a B.E.S monster you control, and destroy them. So, this card is very interesting. The summon condition, I mean, this is one of those cards where, like, if this summon condition were in almost any other archetype, it would be insanely broken. Like, summoning from hand by milling a bunch of your archetypes cards to the graveyard is actually pretty insane. But of course, because it's a B.E.S archetype, which isn't really that great, it doesn't really end up being too much of an issue. It seems like a good way of getting those cards that might be bricks, those big B.E.S monsters, out of your deck and into the graveyard, where they can then be summoned by something like, you know, Dillinger Core. So that's pretty neat. The once per chain quick effect is interesting. It might not seem that great at first glance, but I'm pretty sure the B.E.S archetype already has another card. Let me take a look here for a second. I'm pretty sure they have another card that stops them from being, like, destroyed by card effects. And if that works with the 2 effect, that's effectively just once per chain, destroy a face-up card on the field, which that is pretty solid, if that is, in fact, how it works. Let me go ahead and just find this. Here we go. B.E.F. Zelos, it's their field spell. This is actually from an older set, but it's activated, add boss rush from deck to hand. Your opponent cannot target, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Ooh, that's rough. Okay, so that actually, we'll talk about that in a second, but that actually does not work the way I thought, because this is being destroyed by your own card effect. Yeah, I mean, if this... That was, like, the one, I think, potentially saving grace for this archetype, was being able to, like, pseudo just once per chain destroy a face-up card. Which, again, would have been kind of broken, but also, like, B.E.S kind of needs to be doing something that broken. So, yeah, I don't know. This card is also, like, it's solid, don't get me wrong, but, like, is this enough to make B.E.S, like, a playable? I'm not even looking at tiered, I'm looking at, like, lower rogue archetype, and the answer is... maybe, kind of, we'll see. Finally, Boss on Parade. They continuous spell card for the archetype. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, add 1 B.E.S monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field, and if you do, special summon 1 light machine monster with 1200 attack and 1000 less defense from your deck to either field. You can banish this card from your graveyard, place 1 boss rush from your deck or graveyard face up on field. So I did already look through the selection of cards you can summon, and it's pretty much all just, again, the Vic Viper / Falchion Beta, the greatest ships. There's not really anything else you can cheat out. I think this card's 2 effect is still pretty interesting. Being able to destroy any monster in your hand to summon a monster from deck is, like, always something that's worth thinking about. Like, even if you're not playing a dedicated B.E.S deck, there's always the potential to use this as an engine. But I don't really think that this gets you anything noteworthy enough to use this as an engine in another deck. But I will say within the B.E.S archetype, you know, this is obviously an amazing card. It's probably their best, not even probably, this is just their best support card. It's the Rhoda, it can, again, summon stuff from your deck. It's cute that it can summon it to either field, because then it's like, you know, the little greatest ships can fight the big boss ships, but... yeah, overall, I really don't think that this wave of support is going to make B.E.S like a better deck. Well, it'll make it a better deck for sure, but I don't think it'll make it a tiered deck, definitely not. I even struggle, personally, to say that this will be a lower rogue deck. I really do. It's interesting. I think that Metal Slave and Dillinger Core are, like, pretty interesting new additions, and then Boss on Parade is an amazing continuous spell card. Again, this is one of those cases where, you know, if almost any other archetype got cards that read like Boss on Parade and Metal Slave, then, I mean, it would be broken. But it's B.E.S, so it's not. But yeah, all in all, I don't think this is going to have a huge impact on the meta at all. But as mentioned, both Dragonmaid and Nouvelles also get additional cards. So let's go ahead and talk about those. Dragonmaid... Sembra, it's Chamber's dragon form. We're finally getting Chamber's Dragonmaid form, or dragon form. It says dragon fusion monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can only use following effects once per turn. You can discard this card, special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your graveyard or banishment. At the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, special summon a level 4 lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand. So Has a lot of the same similar effects as a lot of the like dragon forms of the Dragonmaid monsters, but also does have some utility while not being summoned. Again, you can discard this and then revive Dragonmaid monsters from your graveyard or banishment, which is a pretty good form of extension. So I think it's a really solid addition for the Dragonmaid deck, as is Lady's Dragonmaid, which is a new fusion monster for the archetype. Light, level 8 dragon fusion effect monster with 2000 attack and 3000 defense. Materials are 2 Dragonmaid monsters with the same attribute, but different levels. So that's basically taking a Dragonmaid monster's human form and dragon form, because they all have different attributes. But of course, all the human forms and dragon forms have the same level. So, must first be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above monster, 1 each from your field and graveyard. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower Dragonmaid monster from your deck. During the standby phase, you can fusion summon 1 dragon fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your field and or banishment into the deck. You can only use each effect of Lady's Dragonmaid once per turn. So, wow, yeah, this card is really, really good. I think Parlor, right, sends any Dragonmaid card from deck to graveyard on summon. Maybe you could normal summon Parlor, send Parlor's dragon form, and then banish both of them to summon this. This will then immediately special summon any Dragonmaid from your deck, and then also during your opponent's standby phase when they go to begin their turn, you can just special summon out your Shiyu that way, which is like your Omni Negate, the dragon form of House Dragonmaid. So, yeah, no, I think this card is really, really good for the Dragonmaid deck, for sure. It seems like a very excellent extra deck extender, as well as something pretty solid to end on as well. And of course there is the Nouvelles stuff. Nouvelles, I think, is going to get 3 cards here, including their own version of Hungry Burger. Finally! It made so little sense to me that this archetype randomly has to jam like the vanilla Hungry Burger. Now we have Angry Burger, which is a level 6 Dark Warrior Ritual effect monster with 2800 attack and 1850 defense. It's always treated as Hungry Burger, always. So much like the Harpy ladies that say this, unfortunately, you cannot play 3 Angry Burger and 3 Hungry Burger in the same deck. If I'm reading this right, you can only play up to 3 of, between them. But, I mean, who cares? You can ritual summon this card with a recipe card. Monsters your opponent controls that can attack must attack this card. You can only use each of the following effects of Angry Burger once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Nouvelles monster from your deck to your hand if you shuffle this card into the deck. Quick effect, you contribute 1 attack position monster on either field, and if you do, special summon 1 Hungry Burger with 2000 attack from your hand deck. Alright, so this does, I guess, in some ways still reference the original Hungry Burger, which is nice, but of course is also treated as Hungry Burger, so you could summon, well, it summons a Hungry Burger with 2000 attack, so that does have to be the vanilla one, right? Okay, maybe there is a reason to still play the vanilla if you want to get the quick effect off, but if nothing else, this is a consistency buff, and I think it's going to be a 3 of for the Nouvelles deck for that reason alone, just for the second effect, right? Reveal this card in your hand, add Nouvelles monster from deck to hand, and then shuffle this card back. That's beautiful. It's also just really nice to have a iteration of Hungry Burger that can actually do something for your deck, right? So even if you don't want to play vanilla Hungry Burger in order to get this effect, you can still just play this and get the other effects of your Nouvelles cards that involve Hungry Burger. Also, I do think you just don't play vanilla Hungry Burger. If I am right about the Harpy Lady ruling and you have to pick between a total of 3 copies of this and Hungry Burger, just play 3 Angry Burger. The consistency buff is so much more worthwhile than this tribute effect. Alright, we have Chef de Nouvelles, finally getting their second Pendulum monster. It's a Light Fiend. Whoa, Fiendsmith alert. With level 3 with a Pentascale of 0, 1000 attack, 1850 defense. Pend effects during your main phase. If this card was activated this turn, you can add a non-Pendulum Nouvelles card from your deck to your hand. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, except during the damage chip, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn, so that's already insane, right? Like, it's another consistency buff of being able to search your Nouvelles monsters on the Pend effect. For the monster effect, if this card on the field is tributed and added to the extra deck face up, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. You can only activate the following effects of Chef de Nouvelles in the same chain, or you cannot, rather, activate the effects of Chef de Nouvelles in the same chain. Once per turn quick effect, you can target an effect monster on the field, increase its level by up to 3. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can banish a speed ritual spell from your hand, deck, or graveyard and apply that card's activation effect that ritual summons. That is. Yeah, wow, this card is insane. I think this card is really, really good. Not only does the Pendulum effect more searching and consistency buffing for the Nouvelles archetype, but the on-field effects are all highly relevant, right? Or the monster effects, rather. You know, this puts self in the pen scale. If it's tributed, that's obviously amazing. The once per turn quick effect to bump up a monster's level, that's not just useful for your own ritual summoning. You can do that on your opponent's monsters as well. Like, imagine playing against Ryziel and then saying, hey, that Ice Ryziel you just normal summoned, it's actually level 7. That's cute. And of course, if your opponent summons a monster, you get to apply the effect of a ritual spell. Also insanely good. Yeah, great piece of support. And they also get a continuous spell, the Nouvelles recipe book. Recette ste Nouvelles. I'm sure I butchered the hell out of that pronunciation. It is like I said, a continuous spell that says, while you control a Nouvelles monster card, all face-up monsters your opponent controls are changed to attack position. Each time a monster is tributed by a ritual monster's effect, your opponent pays 850 life points. Once per turn, if you special summon a ritual monster, except during the damage step, you can target one of them, add one recipe or Nouvelles card from your deck to your hand, except a continuous spell, and if you do, increase that monster's level by 1. You can only activate one of these cards per turn. So, more consistency boosting. This one's more of an extender than a starter, as it lets you continue to add Nouvelles or recipe cards from deck to hand, as long as you're continuing to ritual summon, which of course you're playing a ritual deck, so you are planning to do that. I could see this being a very interesting one-of in the deck. Again, it's not a starter, so I probably wouldn't, try to main deck 3 of it. I don't know how searchable this is, like, mid-combo. If you can search this mid-combo, then 1 copy is definitely enough. But if it's something you'd rather open as an additional extender, then maybe you'd want to include more than 1 copy. I don't know. It does seem solid overall, though. Again, letting you continue to ritual summon. And I know that increasing the levels of the Nouvelles ritual monsters does also matter for being able to ritual summon them as well. So, also, your opponent paying 850 life points whenever you tribute a monster is really cute. It's like they're paying for the meal. So yeah, all in all, I think that the Nouvelles and Dragonmaid stuff is actually really good for their respective archetypes. The B.E.S stuff, I mean, again, it's really good for B.E.S support, but that's really only because B.E.S is such a bad archetype. It's at the end of the day not gonna make the deck, anything outstanding. So, as far as how worth it this pack is, I really think it depends how much you care about these archetypes. But even then, unless you somehow care about all 3, I honestly probably wouldn't open this pack if I were you. I think it'd be better to open other packs and get whatever URs from whatever archetypes you're trying to play, right? Like if you're a Nouvelles player, you don't need to be opening B.E.S and Dragonmaid cards. You could just open a better pack and then use the crafting materials you get from that to craft your Nouvelles cards. And you can make the same argument for Dragonmaid as well. So, again, unless you're somehow interested in all 3 of these decks, I'd probably pass on this pack if I were you. But it is still kind of cool to see Konami dropping brand new cards into Master Duel right as soon as they're revealed in the OCG. And of course, it is very nice for Nouvelles and Dragonmaid players to get their follow-up support as well. But, alright, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for now. Thanks for watching as always. And remember, if you want to see more content like this where we're reviewing new cards in this manner, make sure to sign up over at patreon.com/hexlex to see a lot more content like that, as well as other exclusive content that only gets posted to the Patreon. But that'll do it for now. This is Hexlex. I am signing out, and also hoping that you have a fantastic day. Oh wait, we gotta move on to our outro. Duh. Let's do that first. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.